How many licks does it take to get to the Tootsie Roll center of a Tootsie Pop?
Let's find out. 1, 2, 3.
How many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop? The world may never know.
Medieval mess. Now, let me see. We should be here in, I'd say half an hour. Who? I'd like to know who. I told you, Archimedes, I am not sure. All I know is that someone will be coming. Someone very important. Pin feathers. Fate will direct him to me so that I, in turn, may guide him to his rightful place in the world.
And you say he will arrive in half an hour? Well, we'll just see.
And you will, Archimedes, you will. Oh. He'll be, a boy. Small boy. 11, 12 years old. And scrawny little fella.
When thou art come into the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee, thou shalt not learn to do after the abominations of those nations. There shall not be found among you any one that maketh his son or his daughter to pass through the fire, or that useth divination, or an observer of times, or an enchanter, or a witch, or a charmer, or a consulter with familiar spirits, or a wizard, or a necromancer. For all that do these things are an abomination unto the Lord, and because of these abominations the Lord thy God doth drive them out from before thee.
Good afternoon and welcome.
What?
I say good afternoon and welcome. Can we release the masks? Just take them off. How can we be a secret... How can we be a secret society if we can't keep all of our secrets?
Do they know we faked the moon landing?
No, not yet.
Or that there are only 49 shades of gray?
They're suspicious, but that's not what I'm talking about.
What about Bigfoot?
Bigfoot's not real and everyone knows that.
Did they figure out we deflated the football?
No, we found a fall guy for that one.
Bigfoot's definitely real.
Nope.
We'll just have to agree to disagree.
Here are 3 specific things most tourists don't know about Bavaria, Germany, but should to save yourself the confusion. Bavaria feels very different than the rest of Germany, so here's some things you'll definitely notice and the history behind them. If you step outside on a Sunday, you'll notice that almost everything is closed. That's because Bavaria's deep Catholic roots with strict laws ensuring Sundays remain a day of rest.
Since the dawn of civilization, the powerful have conspired to twist the course of history to suit their own designs. Like puppeteers, a few shadowy figures could still be pulling the strings of destiny for billions. Those who cry conspiracy are usually mocked at, for sometimes the truth is so obvious it goes unnoticed. Are those merely paranoid fantasies cooked up to feed the appetite of paperback readers and web surfers, but which bear no relation to reality? Or are we living out some perfectly executed plan? Wars, revolutions, social movements, terrorist attacks. Everything is given an official explanation. But perhaps nothing is what it seems to be. Let's dare to unveil the incredible world of secret societies.
This is the world you are graduating into. This is what I want to talk about today with you for a few minutes. To lead in shaping a new world order for the 21st century.
Of all the secret societies we know of, there is one that stands out from the rest due to certain characteristics that make it especially menacing. Its treacherous tenets, the scandal and the paranoia they've unleashed, and more disturbing, the suspicion that since its creation, it has intervened in each and every major world event that has steered the course of history, the Illuminati of Bavaria.
Добрый день, дорогие мои зрители. У меня есть журнал Элвис Пресли, про Элвиса Пресли. Май 2001 года. И что в этом журнале мы можем увидеть?
Hi, Elvis.
Hi, everybody.
Yesterday my life was filled with rain. Hey, Jude.
من یک از سایه بشه ویزا.
Close call. Bavaria Radler. Lekker relaxed.
The most fearsome secret society in history.
So keep in mind that it doesn't really work that way. It's not Jews telling non-Jews what to do. It's God telling human beings what to do. God is the creator of heaven and earth. God created all human beings. God created Adam and Eve, and all human beings come from Adam and Eve, and later all human beings come from Noah. Now, when God creates something, there is a purpose in God's creation. God does not create for no purpose. God has given different parts of humanity different missions. The Jewish people, as the priestly class, so to speak, of humanity, were given the mission of bringing God into the world through the Torah and the 613 mitzvot of the Torah. But non-Jews also have a mission and a goal and a purpose for which they will get paradise. They will get eternal reward in Olam Haba, just as Jews do. And the mission of non-Jews are the Noahide laws that were given to humanity. So it's not Jews that are telling non-Jews what to do. It is God's mission for non-Jews.
It's tough to separate Donald Trump from his hometown of New York City. In fact, his family has a long history in the Big Apple, starting with his grandparents. Friedrich and Elizabeth Trump were both born in Karlstadt, Germany, and actually grew up across the street from one another. In the 1880s, Friedrich ventured to North America, making a small fortune during Alaska's gold rush operating restaurants and brothels. After Friedrich returned to Germany and married Elizabeth in 1902, the young couple left for a place where all immigrants could find a home, New York City. The city part of that was relatively new. The 5 boroughs had only formally incorporated 4 years prior. The Trumps first settled in with Friedrich's sister in Morrisania, a rapidly growing German neighborhood in the Bronx. Today, a nail salon occupies their old address. But even though they lived amongst their countrymen, Elizabeth quickly became homesick. After giving birth to their first child, also named Elizabeth in 1904, the growing family traveled back to Deutschland. But the German government wouldn't allow Friedrich to regain his citizenship, claiming he had only left for America in the first place to avoid the German Empire's mandatory military service.
Imagine a tiny blue capsule with the power to shut down a human brain for 3 days straight. During World War II, soldiers didn't just fear the German 88mm artillery shells screaming overhead. They relied on a different kind of 88 to survive the mental wreckage of the front lines. This was the Blue 88, a pill so potent that doctors gave one simple, chilling instruction before handing it over. Find a place to lie down because you aren't waking up for a while.
This morning, the Trump campaign revealing the endorsement of 88 retired U.S. generals and admirals. The group signing a letter that in part rips the Obama administration. Quote, America's armed forces have been subjected to a series of ill-considered and debilitating budget cuts. With me now is one of the 88 military officials who signed that letter, retired Brigadier General Remo Butler. Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much, Carol. How are you this morning?
I'm good. I'm good, and thank you so much for being here. Why did you throw your support behind Donald Trump?
I threw my support behind Donald Trump primarily because of some of the military people that he has surrounded himself with. And when I say that, I'm not saying it lightly. I'm saying that Donald Trump has surrounded himself with what I consider military leaders, warriors.
Originally developed as amytal sodium by the pharmaceutical giant Eli Lilly in the 1920s, these bright blue torpedo-shaped pulvules were a masterpiece of chemical sedation, while the later 1960s drug scene would affectionately call them blue heavens. They called them 88s because they drew a direct parallel to the most feared weapon on the German side, the 8.8 centimeter flak, a multi-purpose gun known for its flat trajectory and devastating one-shot kill capability.
So, back to New York it was. They found their next home again in the Bronx, an apartment building that still stands today. Now home to a liquor store. Elizabeth soon gave birth to their second child and first son, Frederick Christ, although he was known as Fred from an early age. A third child, John George, would be born 2 years later. To provide for his young family, Friedrich set up a barber shop in Lower Manhattan, shaving and trimming men of finance at 60 Wall Street, now the headquarters of Deutsche Bank. But Friedrich wouldn't be satisfied with cutting rich men's hair for long. He wanted to be the one in the chair. So, in September 1908, he bought his first property as an investment, a 2-story dwelling in the Woodhaven neighborhood of Queens. To supplement his income, he took up a job as manager at the German-owned Medallion Hotel in Midtown Manhattan. The hotel has since been demolished, and the property now exists as a parking lot. Soon after, the whole Trump family moved to Queens to be closer to Friedrich's real estate interests, settling in a 2-story house in Woodhaven. Still a house today. All was good for the Trumps, but like many German immigrants in the U.S., they faced extreme bias after the outbreak of World War I. To appear more American, Friedrich Trump became Frederick Trump. Interestingly, his son Fred Trump would go on to further reject his German ancestry, claiming the family was Swedish in order to appeal to Jewish renters, a claim continued by his son well into the future. Back in 1918, America experienced one of its most dangerous epidemics, the Spanish flu. Influenza killed over 21 million people worldwide that year, including Frederick Trump. Elizabeth went on to manage her deceased husband's budding real estate company, now entitled Elizabeth Trump and Son, the son being Fred. Until he was of age, Elizabeth bought and sold property, built homes, and arranged mortgages, all while sewing for her neighbors on the side. Fred soon took over the business, and over the course of several decades, built it into the family empire his son Donald would inherit.
The 6 million pound moon rocket produces 8.8 million pounds of thrust to accelerate towards space. 75% of this power comes from the two 17-story solid rocket boosters, each producing 3.6 million pounds of thrust.
More than 200 years ago, here in Germany, in what used to be the independent electorate of Bavaria, a secret society was formed whose objective simply spelled world domination. Its strategy to abolish all religions and governments in order to take control of humanity under a unified state, with no countries, no borders, and under the command of a single leader. Its name, the Illuminati of Bavaria. Perhaps you've never heard of them, or perhaps you have, and are familiar with some of the theories that blame them for all the bad things that have befallen us. Theories that intertwine verifiable facts with delirious conspiracy theories that run the gamut from the United States to aliens, but have a common thread in the founding tenet of the Illuminati.
Celebrate the Queen of May as she weds her lover. Joyously they show us how their love we can discover. Green Lord rises from the wildwood, antlers crowned with oak and thorn. White Lady waits within the meadow where the Beltane fires are born.
The creation of a new world order. And perhaps, and only perhaps, that great jumble of information and disinformation that today pervades the media is also part of a broader, sinister plan.
The Order of the Illuminati was officially prescribed more than 200 years ago. But if we pay close attention to subsequent events, we shall find an alarming succession of coincidences that suggest strongly that they are still among us, and that their power, far from having waned, is still very much in evidence.
To find out just how much is fact and how much is fiction, we shall start off by learning what history has to tell us about this mysterious order. Then we shall investigate what has happened since the order's demise. Finally, we shall draw our own conclusions.
On May the 1st, 1776, Adam Weishaupt, a young canon law professor at the University of Bavaria, founded the Order of the Perfectibilists, also known as the Illuminati of Bavaria. Though it was influenced by the Illuminist trends of the time, the name of the order was inspired by the Spanish Alumbrados and the French Illuminés, old Gnostic sects that upheld the communion of man and God without the intermediation of the Church. Initially, the stated objectives of the Illuminati seemed entirely harmless and philanthropic. To stimulate a human and sociable vision, support virtue where it may be threatened or oppressed by vice, to promote the progress of merit-worth people and foster the benefit of those deprived of education. Adam Weishaupt.
Little is known of Adam Weishaupt, but he was undoubtedly a mysterious man. Even his name has given rise to speculation. Adam Weishaupt, in German, can be broken down into Adam, the first man, Weis, knowledge or wisdom, Haupt, leader. That is to say, the first man that leads the wise. An entirely fitting name to define his role in the order he established and in the sinister plans he propounded.
The moon, to me, it's the thing that connects me together with all the other humans in my life. I remember being a little kid lying in bed at night and just looking out at the moon in whatever phase it was in, and I was thinking, man, my friends that live like 20 miles away, they can probably look out and see that same exact moon. And then when I was in the Navy and I would look out at the moon and I'd be halfway around the planet, I would think, man, my brother can see that moon where he is and he's halfway around the planet from where I am. To me, it's a connection of life on Earth. We can all look up and see that moon, and it's always changing. The moon is never the same 2 days in a row. I love that. My name is Reed Wiseman. I'm the commander of NASA's Artemis II mission around the moon.
Adam Weishaupt was born in Ingolstadt, Bavaria, in the south of Germany in 1748. A convert from Judaism.
C. Jews in space!
Wir Jews are in space. We're zooming along, protecting the Hebrew race. We're Jews are in space. If trouble appears, we'll put it right back in its place. When Goyim attack us, we'll give them a smack, we'll slap them right back in the face.
He was raised and educated by Jesuits. A precocious intellectual, at the age of 28, he was Dean of the Jesuit University of Canon Law at Ingolstadt. In spite of his apparent religious fervor and Catholic zeal, Weishaupt was obsessed with ancient Egyptian rites and rituals, and at the same time he also maintained regular contact with Freemasons, the historic enemies of the Catholic Church.
President Trump, who attended Fordham, a Jesuit university, came face to face today with the first Jesuit pope. The rest is history.
Like many thinkers of that era, he admired Jean-Jacques Rousseau, who insisted that man was noble and free by nature, and could be governed without the need for religious or established institutions. The only practice that one ought to teach children is that they should never submit to one. Jean-Jacques Rousseau.
The Illuminati were created within a Masonic lodge to which Weishaupt belonged. By that time, Freemasonry was already a prestigious secret society of long standing, and its excessive secrecy and closeness to the powers that be had turned it into the ideal nurturing ground for Weishaupt's order, who began to infiltrate it. The Freemasons, good keepers of secrets, would contribute knowingly or otherwise to the Illuminati plan.
For his order, Weishaupt borrowed the strict, military-style hierarchical structure of the Jesuits and divided it into 13 degrees. First level, nursery, preparation, novice, Minerval, Illuminatus minor. Second level, Freemasonry, subdivided into 2 orders: Symbolic Apprentice, Fellow of the Craft, Master Freemason, and Scottish, Illuminatus Major, and Illuminatus Dirigens. Third level, Mysteries, subdivided into 2 orders: Lesser Mysteries, Priest and Regent, and Greater Mysteries, Magus, Rex, and King or Areopagite.
What do you think about the Freemasons? I've seen a lot of conspiracies and a lot of good
strong
stuff.
opinions about it, honestly. It could be right. I've known some people that have been Masons that have just been like regular everyday people, but I'm open-minded.
Curiously enough, the order was an incomplete structure. There were many minorvals, but the higher hierarchies were never completely filled, and they only existed in Weishaupt's mind, who proclaimed himself king or Areopagite.
Up until the year 1780, the Order of the Illuminati was only known within the boundaries of Bavaria. With the inclusion of Baron Nige, an enthusiastic Freemason reformer, new recruits flooded in. New academies for the Nervals were established and strict codes for secrecy enforced. The novices, or Minervals, did not know anyone in the order other than their instructor. If, after 3 years as Minervals, they were chosen to continue their training, they went on to become Illuminatus Minor, and were permitted to know a little more about the real objectives of the order.
Weishaupt designed for his order a complex system of codes and aliases that seemed to pre-announce a strategy that would allow them to continue working underground sometime in the future. The Illuminati became a true secret society within another, that is, within Freemasonry itself. It soon became clear that the true objectives of Weishaupt and his Illuminati went far beyond simple altruism.
The order was symbolized as a letter O with a dot in the center. Everyone assumed pseudonyms inspired by Roman and Greek history. Adam Weishaupt, Spartacus. Aaron Nige, Philo. Franz Xavier Zwack, Cato. Marquis of Costanza, Diomedes, and so on. Cities and regions also received coded Hellenic names: Munich, Athens, Frankfurt, Thebes, Bavaria, Greece. Letters were coded with numbers in the lower degrees and with hieroglyphics in the higher degrees.
Just 7 years after he had founded his order, Adam Weishaupt boasted of having more than 600 followers in Bavaria alone, and many more in the rest of Europe. The order attracted influential people, including nobles and members of the clergy.
Paradoxically, active members of the Catholic Church could be found among the ranks of the Illuminati. Perhaps these recruits were open-minded members of the clergy who had been attracted by the order's modernizing and humanistic views.
The Catholic Church has 1.4 billion members. 1.4 billion Catholics out there. 400,000 priests. 600,000 nuns. 200,000 churches. Now think about that. That power. And for that to be involved in our movement, in our environmental movement, to terminate pollution.
Good evening.
You're with the Illuminati.
Beg your pardon. There's no such thing. It's just a bedtime story.
Illuminati.
Love zombie movies? Ever wonder how the military would actually handle a real zombie apocalypse? Zombies. Yep, the US military actually wrote a plan for that. Conplan 8888 is a real US STRATCOM training plan. Not a real-world order, but a fictional scenario to teach officers how to plan under chaos. Written like a serious operations plan, it walks planners through phases. Identify the enemy, secure vital infrastructure, coordinate defense and offense, then restore order. The goal? Teach officers how to plan for chaos. If you can build a plan for the undead, you can build one for any crisis.
To terminate pollution. And of course, I'm very honored to be here because I'm next to an action hero. Now you're laughing because he doesn't look maybe like one, like you see in the movies with the muscles and with the guns and all that stuff. No. But the reason why I call him an action hero is because as soon as he became the Pope, he ordered the Vatican to put solar panels on top of the buildings.
But it seems equally likely that the Catholic Church had decided to infiltrate the order in order to learn more about its true objectives. If this were the case, the results were soon plain to see.
The order of the Illuminati spread across Europe like wildfire, and soon the powers that be, the Catholic Church and Freemasonry itself, tried to put a limit to its expansion. Adam Weishaupt went into exile and worked underground. His secret files exposed and his true motives discovered. But the Brotherhood had already dispersed, and all its branches were prepared to act anonymously and in utmost secrecy.
What must be done now to ensure that caring for our common home and listening to the cry of the earth and the poor do not appear as mere passing trends, or worse still, that they be seen and felt as divisive issues. In line with Laudato Si, the apostolic exhortation Laudate Deum, published 2 years ago, noted that some have chosen to deride the increasingly evident signs of climate change, to ridicule those who speak of global warming, and even to blame the poor for the very thing that affects them the most.
In 1790, the Order of the Illuminati had officially ceased to exist in Bavaria, Prussia, and the other domains of which is now modern Germany. But perhaps their disappearance was little more than a charade. After all, a secret society is born to act in the shadows, and when it is discovered, it must die in order to go on living.
The order itself could perish, but not its objectives. The Illuminati fire had started, and it would be unstoppable.
To return to man his fundamental rights of equality and liberty, we should begin by destroying every religion and every civil society, and finish abolishing property. Adam Weishaupt.
Besides spreading the message of the encyclical, it is now more important than ever to return to the heart. Pope Francis emphasized that the most effective solutions will not come from individual efforts alone, but above all, from major political decisions on the national and international levels. Everyone in society, through non-governmental organizations and advocacy groups, must put pressure on governments to develop and implement more rigorous regulations, procedures, and controls. Citizens need to take an active role in political decision-making at national, regional, and local levels.
The secret society, known as the Order of the Illuminati, rose in the late 18th century. It was not the first secret society, and it would not be the last. But its name would always remain a magnet for conspiracy theorists, who maintain that it is still active among us today.
5 years after the Order of the Illuminati was created, Baron Adolf Knigge joined its ranks. He was the man behind its fast expansion and its attempt to infiltrate all of Freemasonry. Knigge, a bankrupt nobleman, a Freemason, a scholar and an occultist, found that Weishaupt and his Illuminati gave a new sense of purpose to his life.
Knigge joined the order and worked for the Illuminati cause with fervor and conviction. In very little time, he was able to infiltrate most of the major Freemasonry lodges, with the exception of the English and Scottish ones, which perhaps due to their conservatism, rejected Knigge's liberal ideas.
But barely 4 years after joining the order, Baron Knigge left, accusing Weishaupt of being a tyrant filled with delusions of grandeur, a megalomaniac that had deceived his own followers by claiming that the order had an ancient origin, when in fact it was a new cult tailor-made for his own personal glory. The events that followed would vindicate Knigge's charge. The innocent and charitable order of the Illuminati had deceitful objectives, and now, thanks to Knigge's contribution, it also had the capacity to achieve them.
A short time after Knigge's desertion, Bavaria was buzzing with rumors that a certain secret order was aiming to put an end to established order and organized religion, and to create a new world order under a single unified government. This information could only have come from either Knigge himself or from those Jesuit infiltrators who had certainly witnessed strange initiation rites.
Simply put, this country and this world benefit from your commitment to Jesuit principles, to being men.
As a graduate of another great Jesuit institution, Xavier University, I have great affection for the value and purpose of a Jesuit education.
A great deal has been said about the rituals of secret societies. The Illuminati were no exception. Perhaps the Jesuits who witnessed them decided it was time to act up. As a result of their testimony, the Catholic Church forced the Elector of Bavaria to ban the order.
There were 3 rooms. In the last one there was a richly decorated red throne. On the other side there was a table with a red tablecloth, upon which lay the garments of the regent, a white leather cuirass with a red cross and a white cloak with another red cross. The candidate walks across this room dressed like a slave, chains hanging from his hands. And the regents say, "Stop, only free men can enter." And the defenders respond, "He is free. He has fled from his oppressors to join the Brotherhood." The room was red and brightly lit. The provincial was seated on the throne, and the other regents were in the middle room. The first room was black. It was used for the preparation of the novice, and in the center upon a platform there was a human skeleton at whose feet lay a crown and sword. What do you think of these sad spoils? Was he a nobleman or a peasant? The correct thing to do was not to answer. The candidate received the explanation. The human condition is the only thing that matters. After that, the candidate took the oath. From a distance, these rituals seem to be rather naive, and Weishaupt's objectives unobtainable, even risible. But if we continue to analyze the historical events that followed, our laughter might turn to a horrible grimace. In 1783, 4 professors of the Marianas Academy were interrogated at a court of law on account of their belonging to the order. All eventually admitted that the Illuminati abjured Christianity, defended sensual pleasures, liberty, equality, and the right to commit suicide.
The confession was made public and caused a tremendous uproar. How much had the heretics infiltrated the society? What was the reach of their plans for world domination?
There's a powerful connection between the dollar and Taco Bell, because it unlocks a world of 20 decadent menu items from breakfast to late night for just $1 each. 20 items for $1. 20 steps on the pyramid. Who's really behind this? Is it the Illuminati or the Bell-Illuminati? Experience the power of the dollar at Taco Bell.
Hi, I'm President Business, president of the Octad Corporation and the world. Let's take extra care to follow the instructions or you'll be put to sleep. And don't forget Taco Tuesday's coming next week. That's the day every rule-following citizen gets a free taco and my love. This is President Business. Hello, hi, welcome to Taco Tuesday. Don't worry about this big black monolith thing that's blocking out the sun. What you need to worry about is this question that I'm about to ask you. Who wants a taco? Yeah, I know! Tacos, we're going crazy.
Today will not be known as Taco Tuesday. It will be known as Freedom Friday. But still on a Tuesday.
At Taco Bell, the dollar gets you access to more. Like the new $1 stacker with lavish layers of seasoned beef and melty cheese. But how can all these layers only cost $1? Something's not stacking up. Is the $1 stacker reserved for a secret society? Or just anyone with $1? The answer is yes.
Who really were these enemies of church and state?
The Elector of Bavaria intended to eradicate this evil as he perceived it, and passed a law prohibiting every kind of secret meeting, a measure that unfairly or not affected all of Freemasonry. Finally, by means of another law, he banned the Illuminati altogether. In 1786, the home of Illuminati lawyer von Zweig was raided and various papers and correspondence seized.
But it was a freak event that sealed the destiny of the Illuminati, a bizarre accident that would be taken advantage of by the critics of the order and used to deal them a fatal blow.
On July the 10th, 1785, a mysterious man rode swiftly under the skies of Bavaria. He was the apostate Abbot Lance, a friend and personal envoy of Adam Weishaupt and an Illuminati. He never reached his destination. A lightning bolt struck him dead, leaving behind only his charred corpse. Curiously, the papers that he carried were not affected by the fire. When the authorities went through his sack, they found letters and documents that further incriminated the members of the order. Thus Weishaupt could not avoid the disclosure of his true objectives, together with confidential information about his order's most important members. His plans for world domination and the abolition of the state, religion and private property, all penned in his very own handwriting, had come to light. Thus began the Illuminati panic, never to end.
The episode of the lightning-struck rider sealed the fate for the Illuminati. Their world seemed to be coming to an end, but the facts that followed showed that in spite of these setbacks, Weishaupt's influence remained in full force and made him practically untouchable.
In 1785, Weishaupt was dismissed from his university and expelled from Bavaria. Amazingly, instead of sending him to prison, the authorities offered him a compensation payment. of 800 florins per year, which he rejected. Weishaupt went into exile, avowing that the order would return 10 times more powerful. Whether or not he kept his word is still a matter for speculation.
Bearing in mind the charges that were levied against them, the lightness of the sentences passed is quite suspicious. Some even had the good fortune to be compensated with ready money. Perhaps the order already had enough political and economic leverage to press on the authorities. The fact is that their enforced exile had an unwanted consequence: the dispersion of the Illuminati to the four corners.
Adam Weishaupt found a safe haven in Regensburg, where he published a pamphlet in which he clarified the charitable principles of the order. He then took up residence in Gotha, whose duke was an Illuminatus. The official story says that he abandoned all political activity and made his peace with the Catholic Church.
Best-selling thriller from Da Vinci Code author Dan Brown is the new one is called, what is it called? Lost Symbol, right?
Lost Symbol.
Set in the nation's capital, and it's centered on the world's oldest and largest fraternity.
Brown's book has renewed interest in the Freemasons, and as Elaine Quijano tells us this morning, it is a secret society that is still very well represented in Washington.
John and Kieran, for all the conspiracy theories about Freemasons, this much is true. They can still be found at the highest levels of American government.
Thereafter to lead a tranquil life, far removed from conspiracies.
Such a luxurious and peaceful exile strikes as a suspiciously serene end for the leading conspirator of his time. It is reasonable to suppose that Weishaupt could have kept on working despite his low profile. And even if his retirement had been genuine, the order of the Illuminati already had a life of its own, as would soon be detected during the one episode that shook Western civilization the most and laid the groundwork for a true new world order, the French Revolution.
During its heyday, the Order of the Illuminati had extended its tentacles of influence to France. There it recruited, among others, Frederick the Dietrich, the mayor of Strasbourg, Mirabeau, the politician, and the Duke of Orleans, who recruited followers to the Parisian Freemasonry lodges. The strength of our order lies in its secrecy. It should never appear anywhere under its own name, but always shrouded in another name and another occupation. Adam Weishaupt. The connection between the Illuminati and the Jacobins during the French Revolution of 1789 was denounced by one of the order's most fervent detractors, Abbot Augustin Barruel. Likewise, the Scottish Freemason, author John Robison, devoted a long and verbose chapter of his work to what he regarded as the Illuminati's influence on the revolution. Robison maintained that Weishaupt and the Club of the Illuminati, together with the Club of the Jacobins, controlled the National Assembly, and from Paris ruled all of France.
From the Capitol to the White House, Freemasons throughout history have freely roamed the halls of power in Washington. 9 of the men who signed the Declaration of Independence were Freemasons, as were more than a dozen U.S. presidents, including George Washington. who famously laid the cornerstone of the Capitol building clad in his ceremonial Masonic apron.
One wonders if the Illuminati acted in good faith, seeking to free the French from royal oppression, or if the revolution was merely a convenient vehicle for its plans for creating a new world order, free from monarchy and religion, but under their control.
Little more is known about the Order, since all the files related to it were conveniently destroyed during Allied bombing of German cities during the Second World War.
Who were the Illuminati? Heroes fighting for liberty and reason, or demented tyrants who sought to enslave the world?
These days, Masons can still be found in powerful government positions. Masonic historian Arturo de Hoyos.
We have Lucifer. What is your problem?
Just that, sir.
Okay.
I'm a Christian, sir.
I'm pure and virtuous and wholesome and innocent. How can you say anything about me?
Sir, you need to be born again.
I am born again.
Now, did you just say that you were Lucifer?
I am Lucifer.
Okay, define Lucifer for me.
Pure, virtuous, wholesome, innocent individual that's out to help people.
Lucifer is?
Yeah.
Say that again. Lucifer is a pure, holy...
Virtuous.
Virtuous. Now, is he the Lucifer that God created?
That's the same one.
Oh, man, this is great. I'm going to put this on the internet.
Oh,
Amen.
God bless you,
Amen.
brother.
Because that's exactly what the Shriners and Masons teach, is that Lucifer is light.
No.
And you're
what about
confirming
those hospitals?
You know what, sir? Jesus said, many will say to me on that day, Lord, Lord, we did not do these good deeds in your name. And you'll say, away from me, you workers of iniquity. I never knew you.
Jesus said it?
In Matthew chapter 5.
Mercy.
No.
That's hard to believe.
So you're a Christian and you don't know that. Actually.
No, I really am.
You are.
Because I'm pure and virtuous.
You're pure and virtuous, okay. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, you're perfect without Jesus, right?
No.
Okay, tell me about Jesus. Who is Jesus?
Well, he's my leader.
Is he the Son of God?
Yes, he is.
Is he the only worshipful master?
Yes.
Have you ever been called worshipful master?
No, because I've just been too busy. I've been working.
Working?
Been working to help people.
What
like
kind
you.
of work? Okay.
Get out of here.
See, this is what a Mason confesses, is that Lucifer is light.
Bohemia, we thank thee for thy adjuration.
Have you been there for the ceremony with the cremation of care?
Frankly, I don't think that's something I need to talk to you about.
Up until its apparent dissolution in 1790, the Order of the Illuminati boasted members in all the important European cities. The Catholic Church's attempt to root out and destroy the Order, and the political persecution of its most important leaders had precisely the opposite effect of what was intended. The Illuminati were scattered to the four winds, and in the shadows they moved like fish in water.
Even after the apparent dismissal of the Order, there were many who doubted that they had really ceased to operate. Their infiltration had been so widespread that every Freemason could now be suspected of being an undercover Illuminati. So the whole of Freemasonry was proscribed, and there was more to come. The Order's reputation quickly spread to the New World. Books by Abbot Augustine Burrell and John Robison alerting the world to the imminent Illuminati peril were published in the recently founded United States, generating panic among their readers. The paranoia had crossed the Atlantic.
In 1776, the year in which Weishaupt founded his order and began to infiltrate Freemasonry, the United States declared its independence. Many of its founding fathers were Freemasons. It is not known if some of them were subsequently recruited by the Illuminati. What is known is that many American religious communities felt threatened by the freedom of worship guaranteed by the new Constitution, which they denounced as part of an Illuminati conspiracy. In 1798, when the second president of the USA, John Adams, established May the 9th as a day of fasting and worship to implore the heavens' mercy and blessing for the imperiled nation, fingers were pointed at the order founded by Weishaupt, and a wave of panic flowed across New England. We should strive to do all we possibly can to endeavor the advance of the Illuminati in all important public positions. Adam Weishaupt.
Safe now. Everything's lead lined. Don't you lose those tapes now. See that? The record. Let's put this back here. There we go. Whoop! I almost forgot my luggage. I mean, who knows if they've got cotton underwear in the future. I'm allergic to all synthetics.
The future? That's where you're going.
That's right. 25 years into the future. I've always dreamed of seeing the future, looking beyond my years, seeing the progress of mankind.
Why not?
I'll also be able to see who wins the next 25 World Series.
Doc.
Huh?
Look me up when you get there.
Indeed, I will. Roll 'em. I, Dr. Emmett Brown, am about to embark on an historic journey. What am I thinking of? I almost forgot to bring extra plutonium. How do I ever expect to get back? One pellet, one trip. I must be out of my mind. What is it, Arnie? Oh, my God.
I'm not gonna let it stop me.
Yes, Michael is unstoppable and very much alive after CNN accidentally posted a nearly 3.5-minute tribute video titled Remembering the Life of Michael J. Fox.
This is nuts.
Here's a timeline. Wednesday, 12:20 p.m. CNN made the post, which was quickly taken down, but the internet was sent into a tailspin. Fans mourning the Hollywood icon's death. 5.5 hours later, Michael took to Threads saying, quote, "How do you react when CNN is reporting your death? I thought the world was ending, but apparently it's just me."
Laughter's always my biggest, my first response to anything is, what's funny about this?
A rep for the network tells ET, quote, "The package was published in error and they sent apologies to Michael J. Fox and his family."
I want to say hi to Michael J. Fox.
35 years into his Parkinson's battle, Michael is not slowing down. Tuesday night, he made a surprise appearance during PaleyFest's shrinking panel with Harrison Ford and Jason Segel. He also broke some news about his future on the show.
Will you come back and do the show? I'll be back and talk to you.
We'll see you next year.
We'll see. They found me. I don't know how, but they found me. Run for it, Marty! Who? Who do you think? The Libyans! Holy sh**! I'll roll their fire!
Doc, wait!
In Boston, Reverend Jedediah Morse dedicated his sermons to the Illuminati threat. The media echoed his words, but no firm evidence of Illuminati conspiracy was ever uncovered.
And that comes right from the government services, comes right out of Border Patrol. Take a look at that. So that arrow is the lowest amount of illegal immigration ever in recorded history into our country. And then And then the worst president in the history of our country took over. And look what happened to our country. Probably 20 million people. And you know, that's a little bit old, that chart. That chart's a couple of months old. And if you want to really see something that's sad, take a look at what happened.
Moving to spare. Hold. When you're ready. On you. Ready. Move. Up. Move. Go. Up. Hawkeye's here. We ready?
Okay, we are watching live at a rally in Butler, Pennsylvania, where former President Trump was speaking on the stage. There has been some kind of disturbance that clearly sets law enforcement and Secret Service into
crazy drunk driver.
Oh, Brett, you look great. Everything looks great. 124. I still got time. Come on, Doc. No, not again. Come on. Libyans. You're alive. Bulletproof vest. How did you know? I never got a chance to tell you. What about all that talk about screwing up future events, the space-time continuum?
Well, I figured What the hell?
So how far ahead are you going?
About 30 years. It's a nice round number.
Look me up when you get there, all right? This will be about 47.
Motion, immediately jumping around the former president in a protective mode. The crowd has been screaming. They are standing by. You can hear some voices there saying, "Are we ready to go? Are we ready to go?" We are looking at President Trump. This does not look good. I'm going to be honest with you, from what we can see right here, it looks like they are attempting to move him out, that he may have been injured.
An immensely vast, rich and potentially powerful country where the practice of Freemasonry was widespread and accepted was certainly a fertile land in which to sow the Illuminati seed. Up to what point was the Illuminati Panic of New England exclusively based on absurd conspiracy theories promoted by zealous religious leaders?
It was none other than Thomas Jefferson who, after reading Abbot Barrowell, came out in defense of Adam Weishaupt. In 1800, Jefferson wrote to his friend Madison, "Adam Weishaupt believes in the indefinite perfectibility of man. He thinks he may in time be rendered so perfect that he will be able to govern himself in every circumstance, so as to injure none, and to do all the good he can, to leave government no occasion to exercise their powers over him, and of course to render political government useless."
And celebration with your friends, but you were quick to find new ways to stay connected and active while remaining focused on finishing your education. You proved to the entire world that you can set your mind to something important, push through and succeed, showing all of us that you, our next generation, already possess the strength and resilience of the American spirit. Here we go again.
You can come in. Come on in. Our proudest legacy will be that of peacemaker.
Peacemaker under the fire. Beautiful. Together with like-minded leaders, we have a voice.
This, you know, is not far removed from our own ideals. Jefferson's main opponents, the Federalist Party, founded by Alexander Hamilton, proclaimed that Jefferson, as well as the Democratic Republican Party, were all controlled by the Illuminati. Nothing was ever proven. Jefferson's party is the forerunner of the Democrats and Republican parties that today take turns to govern the USA.
The Illuminati paranoia faded out in the 19th century, but almost 100 years later it was reborn, stronger than ever.
In the early 20th century, English right-wing writer Nestor Webster stated, without offering any proof, that since 1786 a lodge of the Order of the Illuminati had become established in Virginia and 14 other American cities.
Is it safe?
It is safe.
Everyone wants to know. So here it is. Hi, Mr. President. Congratulations.
Did you watch it?
I did not. Yeah, I will see it on the news.
According to her, this had given rise to a hidden theocracy of Jews, Kabbalists, Masons, anarchists, Illuminati, occultists, and heretics. With her ignorance and racism, Nestor Webster contributed to a renewal of interest in the order she manifestly abhorred, and formally introduced anti-Semitism as an important element in conspiracy theorizing.
Sadly, no conspiracy theory is worth its salt if it does not include the Jews in it. The writings of Nestor Webster may have stoked the flames, but the fact remains that long before that, and long after, theories of world domination have always included economic power, especially international banking, an activity that is often exclusively and mistakenly attributed to Jews.
You are 5 brothers. I want you each to start a banking business in a different country. One to go and open a house in Paris, one in Vienna, one in London. Choose the most important centers, so that when money is to be sent from here to London, let us say, you won't have to risk life and gold. Amshel, here in Frankfurt, will just send a letter to Nathan in London saying, pay so-and-so, and that will be offset by loans from London to Frankfurt. Understand? In your day, there will be many wars in Europe. And nations that have money to transport will come to the Rothschilds.
You talk any more, the doctor?
I'm giving advice to our sons, Mama, that the doctor cannot give. Remember, unity is strength. All your lives you must stand by one another. No one brother must be allowed to fail while another brother succeeds. Your 5 banking houses may cover Europe, but you will be one firm, one family, the Rothschilds.
And the Illuminati conspiracy was no exception.
Many authors of supposedly serious history books uphold the idea that international banking is in the hands of the Illuminati Jews, who for centuries have financed both sides fighting wars in order to create anarchy and chaos, a state of affairs that would, in their view, inevitably lead to a new world order, which the Illuminati would come to control. The bête noire of these conspiracy buffs is the Rothschild clan, immensely powerful and conveniently Jewish. History tells us something different. The only connection between the Rothschild clan and the Illuminati is that the patriarch of the Rothschild clan, Amsel Meyer, had, among many other clients, Prince William of Hesse, who seems to have been one of the first members of the Order of the Illuminati. Though it's true that the Rothschilds, in common with almost all European bankers, financed wars and revolutions, this activity, though morally questionable, does not constitute evidence that they were world conspirators or Illuminati.
There is no proven connection between Jews and the Illuminati. However, in the early 20th century, another English writer, Lady Queensborough, proclaimed and denounced the existence of a global conspiracy in which Jews and the Illuminati played a key role. Her books, though poorly researched and devoid of proper evidence, were widely read at the time, a period which we should not forget coincided with the rise of Adolf Hitler and the slaughter of 6 million European Jews, among other victims.
In spite of the conspiracy theories that link Judaism, international banking, world domination, and the Illuminati, Weishaupt himself wrote, Jews, pagans, women, monks, and members of other societies are excluded from the order. The vast majority of Illuminati were Christians by birth. Many of them were drawn from the nobility, and were even clergymen. Women and Jews were only to be accepted in separate lodges and academies. In spite of this, it has frequently been claimed that the protocols of the learned elders of Zion, an anti-Semitic rant drawn up by the Russian Tsar's secret police, is in reality the the literal transcription of a discussion of Illuminati Congress, where a group of Jews outlined plans to take over the world. Adolf Hitler used this libel to stoke hatred against the Jews, and even denounced a Jewish Masonic conspiracy. The curious thing is that many of the very same authors and conspiracy hunters who attack Jews and Freemasons do not hesitate to accuse Hitler himself as a covert Illuminatus, together with Stalin and Marx, and finally end up putting in the same bag Marxists, Bolsheviks, bankers, Jews and Nazis, a decidedly unlikely mix.
Jews have not been the only ones to be singled out. The Illuminati have also been linked to a larger or lesser degree with whatever bogeyman persecution mania the human mind can concoct. Terrorists, demons, even extraterrestrials. And it is here where information blurs into disinformation.
To put it carefully, most of these people followed a not very mainstream religion. So, you have Catholics, Protestants, all sorts of religions. These people, most of them, were Luciferians. And then you can say, religion is a fairy tale. God doesn't exist. None of that is real. Well, for these people, it is truth and reality. And they served something immaterial, what they called Lucifer. And I also was in contact with those circles, only I laughed at it because to me they were just clients. So, I went to places called churches of Satan.
So now we are talking about Satanism.
Yes. So, I visited these churches, just as a visitor dropped by. And then they were doing their holy mass with naked woman and liquor and stuff. And it just amused me. I didn't believe in any of this stuff, and was far from convinced if any of this was real.
It was just a spectacle to you.
Yes. In my opinion, the darkness and evil is within the people themselves. I didn't make the connection yet. So I was a guest in those circles and it amused me greatly to see all those named women and the other things.
Ik vond het allemaal wel leuk, al die blote vrouwen en al die dingetjes die daar speelden.
It was the good life. But then at some point, I was invited, which is why I'm telling you all this, to participate in sacrifices abroad.
In 1976, a writer named Des Griffin tried to revive the belief that the origin of the Illuminati is the rebellion of the Lord's angels and the expulsion of Lucifer. The name Lucifer means him who brings light, just as the word Illuminati means the illuminated. A thesis that not even Weishaupt himself could have dreamt up. Other authors believe that the Illuminati obsession with power can be traced to our reptilian brain, the brainstem that controls our impulses, and in some few incoherent sentences conclude that the Illuminati are really galactic reptiles disguised as human beings. A search on the internet for the words New World Order produces more than 1,400 million web pages, most of dubious content.
So much disinformation and stupidity is eye-catching. Why are there so many theories dedicated to the minuscule group of conspirators who supposedly disappeared more than 200 years ago? What if the paranoid are not totally wrong? After all, we compare the world in 1790 with the world today, the main Illuminati objectives have been achieved, or have at least been set in motion. Coincidence? Or is it that this wealth of conspiracy theories is just serving the purpose of drawing our attention away from certain irrefutable facts?
Knowing that when Trump comes back, he keeps bragging that he's the father of the sauce, and if it wasn't for him, we would not have the sauce. And this is the other thing I don't understand. Some of you folks are against the sauce, but you say you're going to vote for him again. Really? You're against the sauce, but the guy who invented the sauce, you're going to vote for. It doesn't make sense. Folks, we're in trouble. Now, let's talk about what's in there. The logo for Operation Warp Speed has a cube. So now let's take that cube and bring it over and see what it does. And lo and behold, voila, folks. Do you see it? It fits right in there. It fits. Is that a coincidence? No, it's not. Because this cube also does something else. When we look at this blue virus with the crowns, the red crowns, if we were to remove those out of the way, what would we have? Well, this is what we would have. We would have 3 sides, 3 faces of the cube facing us. We have the top and then the left and the right. Let's start with the top one. It's not enclosed. First of all, it is not enclosed. We don't have the entire face. For example, it's not just an empty cube like this. See this? It's not that. Instead, what we have is this L-looking shape. It's shaded, so if we were to move the virus out of the way, this is what it would be. Now, I'm doing this in Photoshop, but I'm just showing you what this is. And when we look at this, we have a cube that fits the Metatron Sacred Geometry Cube. So we have that, but then we have something else. We have the faces of the cube with 3 of the same pattern symbols. What is this? Okay, now let's take this out of the cube and look at it. And look at this, folks. This is what we're looking at now. This goes by several names. We could call it a triskele, or a triskelion, or a triquetra. Now, a triskelion, or triskele, is a symbol. It consists of 3 legs, so to speak. And this symbol is also a part of Eastern mysticism. If you have ever looked at symbolism of paganism or New Age, or the East, or the dark arts, esoteric arts, this is a common symbol, the triskelion, and it looks like 3 legs going around. And the Hindus use it, and when I showed Allison this cube, she pointed that out. She saw it immediately. She said, that looks like the 3-legged, the Isle of Man symbol, and let me show it to you. Here it is right here. Now, that's one version of the triskelion, or the triskele. I did some digging to see what it meant, and it can come in a variety of forms. The Greeks have used it, the Celts have used it, the Nords have used it, pretty much all over the world they have used it. And the word triskele comes from the Greek phrase meaning 3-legged. So the triskele, or triskelion, is made up of 3 legs, 3 spirals, 3 shapes. Look at this, folks. This has also become the symbol of the Nazis. It represents the Aryans. It's a 3-pointed swastika, and the swastika also tried to do something. Do you remember what the swastika represented, folks? It represented depopulation and eugenics and making the perfect world with only the elite. They were going to make the pure race. That's what Hitler was after back then, but now we have the transhumanists after the perfect race of people, or perfect type of people, or version of people. So the triskele represents all of that. And here we have it. Now let's go back to the logo. Look at the picture here, folks. You have to ask yourself, what is the triskele doing on Operation Warp Speed's logo? And what is the cube of the Kabbalah religion doing on the Operation Warp Speed logo?
You know what, sometimes what you leave out of a story is even more interesting than what you leave in. That happened when we were in Oxford, Maryland. Learned that the pride of that old town was one Robert Morris Jr., the financier of the American Revolution. Years ago, we used to go down to the county library to get a picture of a bird like that, but now we just use the internet. That's where I found this picture here. Now, the caption said it was a shot of the Greek god Mercury handing a bag of loot to Robert Morris, the financier of the American Revolution. Well, that's just a tiny part of a much bigger picture called the apotheosis of Washington. Now, apotheosis is a Greek word that means to make divine. In other words, this painting shows George Washington becoming a god. Now, I never knew that happened. But there it is for all to see, painted under the most famous dome in the whole country, maybe the whole world, the United States Capitol. Now, the most interesting part of this particular heaven are the folks that live in it. Now, you'd expect to see Moses and Abraham and Ezekiel and that crowd hanging around, but not a single fella from the Bible's up there. Now, Minerva, the Roman goddess of crafts and wisdom, is shown delivering an electrical generator and batteries and a printing press to Benjamin Franklin, Samuel Morse, and Robert Fulton. And Neptune, the Roman sea god, and Venus, the goddess of love, are showing helping to lay the transatlantic telegraph cable. I'll bet you they were a big help. Now there's some other gods, but not a single prophet, apostle, or even a lower archangel in the whole 4,500 square feet. All I know is what I read on the internet, but you hear a lot of talk these days about the religious beliefs of our founding fathers. Now those boys may have been as devout as saints. We'll never know. One thing's for sure, you'd never tell by looking at Capitol Dome. Charles Paparella, WBOC News.
Since its dissolution in 1790, up until the present day, the Order of the Illuminati has been the prey of choice for a legion of conspiracy hunters. Most of the accusations are downright hilarious. Satanic cults, scientific experiments in parallel dimensions, contacts with aliens, and all of the above simultaneously. So much disinformation helps conceal certain historical facts that chime perfectly well with the original Illuminati plan to generate a new world order under their control.
The saying goes that the best way to hide a secret is to shout it in the marketplace. In the case of the Illuminati, the saying holds true, because if we analyze carefully some of the major world events of the last 200 years, we will see that the ideals of Adam Weishaupt and the Illuminati of Bavaria seem to have borne fruit. Let's start with their first postulate to put an end to established government.
Since the creation of the Order of the Illuminati, the European monarchies have indeed lost all real power. Most modern countries are now constitutional democracies. And those which still have royal families use them as mere ornaments of power or as tourist attractions. The Bolshevik Revolution not only put an end to the Russian monarchy, it also abolished private property, another of the Illuminati ideals. The resultant Soviet Union also complied with another Illuminati objective, soon implemented by every Western nation, to establish full, equal rights for men and women.
Let us speak now of the second postulate, unification under a single world government.
Since its creation in 1945, conspiracy mongers have considered the United Nations and its predecessor, the League of Nations, the Illuminati dream come true. A supranational agency capable of passing resolutions with which sovereign states must comply or else face the consequences. The most terrifying aspects of these theories is that in order for the UN to be created, 2 world wars had to be fought, in which millions lost their lives. Conspiracy theorists will say that the wars were just part of an Illuminati plan to lead us to where we stand today. Above all, the truth remains that Weishaupt's first postulate of creating a new world order under a unified government is closer to becoming true today than it was 200 years ago.
Oh, be quiet. Why are you guys so anti-dictators? Imagine if America was a dictatorship. You could let 1% of the people have all the nation's wealth. You could help your rich friends get richer by cutting their taxes and bailing them out when they gamble and lose. You could ignore the needs of the poor for healthcare and education. Your media would appear free, but would secretly be controlled by one person and his family. You could wiretap phones. You could torture foreign prisoners. You could have rigged elections. You could lie about why you go to war. You could fill your prisons with one particular racial group, and no one would complain. You could use the media to scare the people into supporting policies that are against their interests. I know this is hard for you Americans to imagine, but please try.
And what about the third objective of the order? To put an end to religion. When Weishaupt spoke of religion, he spoke of the established religion in Europe, Christianity. So what of Christianity today?
Thanks to the secret activities of the order, or else the growing influence of humanistic and rationalistic doctrines, since the creation of the Illuminati, the Catholic Church has been steadily losing its influence. Science and reason have encroached on the territory that was once ruled by faith, and today religion occupies a limited space in our lives compared to what it had 200 years ago. A space that is continually contracting thanks to ephemeral but more contemporary styles of worship that attack the central tenets of Catholicism. Abortion, euthanasia and divorce, only the most visible symptoms of a structural weakening of the once almighty Church of Rome.
And finally, a new world order. Isn't this precisely what globalization proposes? Globalization itself seems like an Illuminati dream come true. Free flow of capital, free flow of information. The sensation that each time we are more in control of our own decisions.
Only then will it be possible to mitigate the damage done to the environment. Local legislation will also be more effective if neighboring communities support the same environmental policies.
But all of it, capital, information, servers, internet, is in actual fact manipulated by a single world power. Are we living in a world designed by Adam Weishaupt? The next logical question is, who is the leader of the Order of the Illuminati today? Who are Weishaupt's successors, if indeed they exist?
We have before us the opportunity to forge for ourselves and for future generations a new world order, a world where the rule of law, not the law of the jungle, governs the conduct of nations. When we are successful, and we will be, we have a real chance at this new world order, an order in which a credible United Nations can use its peacekeeping role to fulfill the promise and vision of the UN's founders.
Many groups have claimed to be the heirs of the Order of the Illuminati of Bavaria. Usually these are sects or small groups that few people take seriously and do not pose any threat. That is why conspiracy mongers aim in another direction: the United States. Their chief argument centers on the March 6, 1991 speech, when George H. Bush, President of the USA and former Director of the CIA, used the phrase New World Order when addressing Congress, after defeating Saddam Hussein in a war that many today regard as an imperialistic blow against an oil-producing country.
What is at stake is more than one small country. It is a big idea, a new world order, where diverse nations are drawn together in common cause to achieve the universal aspirations of mankind.
It's going to be very tempting to use AI as a weapon. It's going to be very tempting. In fact, it will be used as a weapon. So the on-ramp to serious AI, the danger is going to be more humans using it against each other, I think, most likely. That'll be the danger. Yeah.
The theory contradicts itself in as much as the government of the USA is actually one of the most conservative in the modern world. But is this fact enough to discount it altogether? Could it not well be another contrivance of that many-headed monster that once appeared in the form of the Order of the Illuminati? Does not the inscription Novus Ordo Seclorum, which translates as a new order of the ages, in other words, a new world order, appear on the dollar bill? Were not most of the founding fathers Freemasons, along with many of the prominent public figures who followed them at a time when Freemasonry was infiltrated by the Illuminati?
All right, what is the Trilateral Commission? It's an organization founded in 1973 by David Rockefeller to bring together business and political leaders from the United States, Europe, Japan, so they could work together for better economic and political cooperation between their nations.
That's what they'd like us to believe.
But you see, what they're really up to is a scheme to plant their own loyal members in positions of power in this country, to work to erase national boundaries and create an international community, and in time bring about a one-world government with David Rockefeller calling the shots.
One must speak at times in one voice and sometimes in another, so that our true purpose turns out always to be unfathomable to the lower members. The end justifies the means. Adam Weishaupt.
The fact that the most powerful country in the world is run by Illuminati is without doubt a laughable theory, but a laugh that brings a chill. Because if it were true, what does the Order have in store for us in years to come?
What about Area 51? Do they know about that?
No.
How about Area 52 to 54?
No, stop saying areas. No areas plus a number.
Literally hundreds of photos of Bigfoot.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw him once. Wait, Bigfoot? I'm getting it wrong. Paul Bunyan?
Point is, someone is leaking this stuff.
Why are you looking at me?
I'm not looking at you, Anne.
I've seen his footprint when I was
Scott! What they do know is that avocados from Mexico have good fat.
So they know they're healthy?
They know everything. Kyle, are you streaming this?
Is that not cool?
No, it's not cool. That's what secret means. It's a secret society.
Oh, wow, secret, yep. Hey, I got a like.
You got a like?
That was me. I like you too. At least they don't know about subliminal advertising. That's not even a thing, right?
Eat them!
What the?
Avocados from Mexico.
And worse, how deep is their power of infiltration? Is the power of the Illuminati simply an exaggeration by bestseller writers and fools? Or are we on our inevitable way to a new world order?
Killers stalk the shadows. Legendary creatures, they wield unrivaled powers. Attack in silence and pierce the dark, inspiring fear and superstition. But now the mysteries surrounding these creatures are coming to light. They fiercely guard their secrets. These fearsome warriors are the owls. Death on the wing, champion hunters of the sky. One just as deadly, but with far different powers.
Owls. They amuse me, surprise me, even frighten me sometimes. But most of all, they intrigue me. It's just the way there's so much about them that we don't know. They're such a fabulous beast.
Be strong in the Lord, and in the power of his might. Put on the whole armour of God, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Wherefore take unto you the whole armour of God,